Right, you lot, let's talk Villa, and I've made a few videos on a certain JADEN Philogene-Bidace. Now, there was a lot of talk about him going to Barcelona. That didn't materialise. He wanted to prioritise a move back to the Premier League. Then it was Ipswich, Everton and Crystal Palace, all vying for his signature. But Aston Villa have a clause where if we match the bid of the highest bidder, we get priority, and allegedly we have now been talking through contracts, giving him a long-term deal at Aston Villa. Unai Emery wants him, and it all looks like he is coming back to Villa for the start of the next season as we progress into the Champions League after a very successful spell out on loan to Hull. Fabrizio Romano is doing all of his, he tweeted it out as if it was like a possibility, then he starts replying to it with the eyes or the little cheeky emoji, like he's not a 30-plus-year-old man. But anyway, it does appear like Jaden will be returning to Villa Park for next season. I've already done a few videos, like I've said, so this video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to go through a couple of his stats in a little bit less detail than perhaps before, but me pointing out the main ones to you. And then I really want to go into how he fits into this team and why he makes Aston Villa's left side look absolutely ridiculous. So if you are enjoying all of that good stuff, Aston Villa and football related content, leave a like, as it says down below, subscribe, turn notifications on. Let's talk about JADEN Philogene-Bidace. What you're seeing on the screen is his foot mob, and this is against his peers effectively in the Championship. You can see top 90th percentile for defensive actions per 90, which is very, very impressive. If we go down to this season, which was for Hull in the Championship, like I say, a very successful deal for him. And we see there 12 goals, 6 assists, puts him in the top 10th percentile for goals. The rest of the stats I won't bother going into a bit too much. That's the one that matters. And then the top 15th percentile for assists in the league as well. He had a pass completion of around 83%, which put him in good stead. He's going to have to work on his long ball accuracy and his cross accuracy to bring himself up to standard, but in the top 3 percentile in the Championship for successful dribbles, touches in the top 10th as well as in the opposition box, and the top 5th percentile for the amount of fouls he won. And defensively, like I say, 90th percentile for defensive actions. This is where he really shines. The top 2% for tackles won, the top 3% for duels won, and then a sea of absolute green, being in at least the top 15th percentile for all of those defensive stats. It's very impressive. And then we move on to his FB Ref scouting report, which is a little bit more detail, and there's a couple of other things I would like to point out to you guys. In terms of progressive carries, and that is carries where he's carried the ball at least 10 yards from its furthest point behind, that is the top 8th percentile, top 11th percentile for progressive passes received as well. He likes getting the ball to his feet. Goals and non-penalty goals expected, he is in the top 12th percentile for both of those. And then, shot creating actions does leave something to be desired, but then you look at the amount of shot creating actions leading from a take on, top 4th percentile, and from a defensive action, so winning the ball back in the final third, the top 3rd percentile. And then defence is where it gets a bit ridiculous. At least the top 10th percentile for tackles, and that is all types of tackles, defensive, middle and attacking third. Dribblers tackled, dribblers challenged, top 10th percentile for blocks and interceptions as well. Touches, and that is in the offensive box, so the attacking penalty area, top 8th percentile. And then we're going to move down a little bit here. Take-ons, again, top 10th percentile, top 2nd percentile for carries into the penalty area per 90. And here we have a couple of ways that Villa could set up next season. I really wanted to dive into how I think Jaden fits into the team and why I think it's such a good sign. I really rate this guy highly. Comment down below how highly you rate him or not. It's interesting to hear your opinions. But here I've got two ways that Villa could line up: a 4-4-2 and a 4-2-3-1 with slight changes either way. Now in the 4-2-2 formation, like I say, Jaden is either a left winger or a right winger. I can't really see him replacing Bailey, but Rogers just come into the team as well. Yes, he was impressive, but you could see, I'm going to call him Philogene for this, you could see him coming in to that left mid / left wing position. If Duran, there's obviously interest from West Ham there, drops out, I could see Rogers being used as that split striker. You could also, again, see JJ being used in that role, and even Diaby, obviously interest from Saudi Arabia for him, although it's pretty much confirmed that he is going to be staying. So that gives us plenty of options. And again, even if, maybe he sees Bailey as the attacking option, then Philogene can drop out of there, for Rodgers, and then he just goes over to the right, a position he has played many times in his career. Oh wow, I don't know why it's typed like that. We'll call him Jaden, it's easier to type. And then you have that balance as well in the team. Now if we bring that back to being Bailey, and this is just, you know, for this example, of course we will get onto the second one very shortly. So let's say that that's the team. This is why I think our left hand side is so goddamn impressive. Now we have Maatsen in here, we have Rodgers, that is our main left hand side. I think that might be the starting left hand side for us. Of course if Rodgers comes in then it might change. So if we just highlight those two and get rid of everyone else out in here, you can see the depth we have on the left hand side at the moment is ridiculous. What's that? You don't want to play Maatsen? How about we just change him for Luca Digne, a world class left back? How about we change him for Alex Moreno, a world class left back? So that's the left hand side of the defence sorted. Obviously I think everyone knows Maatsen is going to be our starter. But then we have Rodgers, again one of our premier performers last year. We had in Phiolgene, a player wanted by Barcelona because he impressed that much last season. We have a certain one of our own and Villa star boy Jacob Ramsey, who can also come in and fill in that position. Our captain, who I do fear won't make the starting lineup next year, John McGinn, also played that position very, very regularly last year. That's 4 of our best midfielders almost just slotted into that one position. And when you're going into the Champions League, this is the type of thing that you need. Now, where I think Jaden could fit in is if we slightly do change to that 4-2-3-1. So we bring up my second example here. And I think Rodgers and Ramsey are pretty much fully interchangeable in that number 10 role, that split striker role. And then I would love to see, where is he there, Ramsey. If he drops out, again, he still needs to get back up to speed. We bring Jaden in. Look at that for a front four. JADEN PHILOGENE-BIDACE. I really, really think this guy is going to be lighting the Premier League up this season. Rodgers in the middle, again, swap him out for JJ, swap him out for John Duran, swap him out for Tielemans, swap him out for Diaby, swap him out for Bailey and put Diaby out wide. It's ridiculous. And then Leon Bailey, one of our best players last season, and Ollie Watkins, a player who has just got 19 goals and 13 assists, I think he finished on in the league. Ridiculous front four. Jaden adds something different as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. So what do I think about the deal? So in terms of the deal, I mean, I'll flash it straight up here. I'm giving it a straight up 10 out of 10. I've been calling for Jaden to be coming back. I was really, really upset that we sold him. I really, really did think that he had a bright future in English football. And I think we're about to see exactly why I thought that next season. Now, like I say, he's very much a Leon Bailey type player. He has tricks, he has flicks, he has skills, but he's also added an end product to his game. He was an absolute revelation for Hull last year. One of their main driving forces as they fought for promotion. Obviously, he did suffer with an injury halfway through, which kind of hindered his progress, but he is out of this world. He's tall, he's an imposing figure. I think he's 191 centimetres tall. He's quick, like I say, silky smooth with the ball at his feet. There's a reason that Barcelona were interested in him, and that's because he is a serious baller. Now, I like Morgan Rodgers very much as well. I think he's fantastic. I think he was really, really brilliant for us last season. To have Rodgers and Phiolgene in the same team, 2 of the brightest young English left wingers, I think by the end of next season, both will have caps for the England senior men's team, is an absolute privilege and an absolute honour. And the deal itself, Ipswich had an £18 million bid accepted, so we have had to match that, match for match, 18 million, that's fine. As part of our clause, we actually will only pay 30% under that. So I think it works out at around, 1.8 times 3, someone else can do the maths for me, but it works out at around 13, 14 million, something like that. It knocks about 4 million off of the price, which is a big chunk of money to be knocked off. And to get a player of this quality is fantastic. He can also play on the right and fill that position in if Bailey or Diaby get moved a little bit further forward. And I think this actual transfer will be able to make Morgan Rodgers flourish, because I think he will play really, really well as that second striker with Watkins. Obviously, Duran might be leaving. We might bring in another striker, but Rodgers in a central position, dropping into pockets and driving forward whilst allowing, Phiolgene and Bailey on the wings. I'm sorry, every other team, their fullbacks will be cacking themselves when they have to come up against those two, because they're two wingers that will get the ball at their feet, drive at you, make you commit to tackles, get you yellow cards, skim you if you have a lapse in concentration like that. And if he can work on that cross accuracy, I think it allows Watkins and Rodgers, let's not forget Rodgers, like 6'4", to unlock a mass of headed goals next season. I'm really, really excited about this one, guys. I can't believe it's actually happening. It's one of my dream transfers, you know, for Phiolgene to come back and really prove his worth. Allegedly, Unai Emery really wants him to be a big part of the squad next season. And it's another young player, 22 years of age. We are going to be cooking. Up the Villa, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you soon.